Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming. I am the Majestic Snare, and today I want to talk about something really topical. It's only kind of landed in the last few days, although it's been bubbling around for fucking years, and that is loot boxes and EA. You probably would have known that from the video title, but nevertheless, let's have a little chat. I want to hear what you guys think about this as we go through, so please leave us a comment down below. Like the video, subscribe, all the good stuff that you normally should say at the end, but I just said it now, so never mind, moving on. So, EA and loot boxes. Where do we begin? So let's just sum up the PR nightmare. So EA have recently had to make some tweaks after a beta of Battlefront 2, the latest Star Wars game that they produced, because of problems, or people had pointed out problems with the price of things, of the in-game currency to get certain characters that are locked. So much so somebody had worked out it will take you 40 hours to unlock Darth Vader. As an example, that means that you're not actually spending any currency on anything else in that time. So for somebody who doesn't want to buy the loot boxes, you are buying less than a shell of the game if you want all the content that's been made for you. Now, in itself is a bad thing, but they've also managed to try to calm the waters on the Reddit threads by basically coming out and saying, with an explanation, a way to incentivize gameplay. It doesn't really happen that way, and as a result, that is now the most downvoted comment on Reddit history. Well, last time I actually looked, it was about 600,000 downvotes. It's probably a lot more than that, but it was quite easily the most downvoted comment. The way I like to think about this is take it back a step. So in terms of the consumer, when you buy anything, you're buying it with an idea or research in your head about the value that you place on that product. The biggest problem we have with video games is there is no comparable product. Really, I mean, you can have a first-person shooter made by one company, compare it to another one. You can compare just the fact that it's a video game, but as we know, video games are so different, and they have different attributes, different enticements, different ways of playing, different lengths of time playing. Take mobile games, for example. Most of those are now free to play because they do the freemium model of gaming, but you don't have a comparable product. So the only comparable product we've got for Battlefront 2 is Battlefront 1. To be fair to it, it was an okay game. It looked really good, but there was no real game to it. It was just a multiplayer engine, and a lot of people enjoyed that, and I played it for quite a few hours. I enjoyed my time with it. But in Battlefront 2, we're talking about a game where, okay, you might have a bit of a campaign, but it's like buying branded baked beans. For those of you that aren't in the UK and don't understand what baked beans are, usually around certain times of the year you will see a branded kind of tie-in with some baked beans or similar type of products. So it's got completely nothing to do with the thing it's tied in with. You know, you might go and get a Whopper from Burger King and it'll be packaged with Star Wars Battlefront 2 stuff on it. Or I don't know if they're doing that, but that's the kind of thing I mean. It's got no changes to the product, it's just the marketing wrapper around it. And that's what we're kind of dealing with here, I think. Games are games, but we have no way of judging their value until we get our hands on them. And when we do get our hands on them, it's too late. And in terms of the loot box situation, I don't have a problem with loot boxes in general. Now, I know that Lee, my co-host here on the channel, kind of believes that they are a thing of the times. It's a necessary evil. They're in every game. We can't stop it, etc., etc. But he's thinking very, very singularly, I think. I personally think that loot boxes are okay in some circumstances. If it's done with in-game currency, I haven't got a problem with that at all. I mean, many games use random generators. Destiny did, as the one example pops into my head. Games don't necessarily become evil because they have loot boxes. If it's tied into gameplay advantage for real money, that's when I think it becomes a problem. Loot boxes were considered not gambling recently. I can't remember who actually said it. I have read it. To me, it is gambling. You're trying to get an outcome of something with a chance of not getting the outcome you want, and you're paying with it for that outcome with real money. I don't understand. Like, if you've got something that you can keep pumping money into and then have a multiplayer advantage, how is that not just creaming money out of people? I really honestly don't think that EA can come back from this. I mean, we look back to a similar PR disaster with Assassin's Creed Unity a few years ago, and that absolutely bombed, and you know, because of all the problems and the glitches and the reason that the care for the consumer wasn't there, we ended up having a product that destroyed, I think, about 10% of Ubisoft's share price. That gives me a good segue into the reason for all this bollocks that goes on in games. with loot boxes and extra fees that you can pay for certain things, and that is that these are massive corporations. EA is such a massive corporation, and they have certain responsibilities as a massive corporation, and number one is making profit for their shareholders. So the people that have bought shares in that company want to have more money than they started with. It's not about an ethical company doing things right for the world, doing something important. They might do things on the side, but their main focus is to make fucking money. And how do they do that? They will look at strange ways to squeeze and squeeze that last dollar, penny, cent, whatever out of people. And it starts to get really, really angry inside me when I start to see things like loot boxes and they are just pay to win, pay to play, pay to wait, whatever it might be. But if you're paying real money for loot boxes, you just shouldn't do it. That's my public service announcement here. Do not buy loot boxes.
La 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 la.
Get them in game, that's fine. But if it's a game that makes it so difficult for you to achieve anything in the game without spending money, or be very much worse off if you don't spend money, then there should be a way to return that product. And thankfully for games that are sold on Steam now, we can do that. The consumer power there is there. If you're paying $60, £60, whatever it might be in your country, to purchase a game, and it comes back with, oh yeah, and that was just the first part, now you have to pay these other bits to have the other parts to it. Fucking disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. I'm actually really happy with the PR nightmare that EA is having right now. I'm not happy that people may be dealing with it, because they're not the ones that are probably at fault here. Some of us may be working in larger corporations or big businesses where you have like a marketing department, right? Or a PR department. Those guys, unless they're at the top echelons in their department or on the board of directors or something, they're not going to be the ones making the decisions. They're not going to be the ones taking the flack or getting the credit. Okay, the people underneath them doing the actual work, those are the guys that are going to get hurt. So I know that quite a few people have mentioned that people are getting death threats when they're trying to refund the game. EA's been an absolute dick and removed the refund button on their site. I mean, stuff like that is just beyond my fucking comprehension. It's disgusting customer service. It's disgusting treatment of gamers, and gamers are going to get angry because, my god, if a character's fucking costumes are wrong colour, we end up having some kind of blow up war on fucking Reddit. So to have this kind of thing, the anger's justified. The anger is directed at the right people or the right company, but not the right people. So please, please, please don't give them too much shit on the phone. It's a shitty situation, but it just shows that people should wait to hear what the reviews come out as. I mean, here on EA.What Gaming, we make sure that we play through the game completely as much as we can before we do a review, and we pay for it with our own money. Nothing gets sponsored or anything like that. Small channels don't really have the ability to get free games unless, certainly for the AAA types. And even EA is stopping reviews of the game because they've made some tweaks as well, which is probably a whole different video. But these are just buying fucking baked beans, dudes. It's nothing. EA are just being absolute wankers. And it's okay, you might think, oh Snare, you're just jumping on the bandwagon here. You're just jumping on the message that everyone else is going to be putting out right now. EA's a bastard. Look, if EA had produced a game like Battlefront 2, okay, with the improvements on Battlefront 1, including the single player campaign, etc, etc, looks like they've done a bit of work on the multiplayer sort of skills and balancing, that's fine. But the loot box situation, if they were free or paid with in-game currency, I wouldn't have a fucking problem. But I do have a problem when people get fleeced. I know Lee's bought this fucking game as well, so Lee, you're a dickhead for doing that. Well, if he gets this far in the video anyway. But yeah, guys, I don't think you're dickheads for buying the game, but I think it's a good idea to maybe wait and not rush to get that pre-order. I've been burnt many times with the pre-order. I've been burnt with special editions in the past. I'm looking at you, Ubisoft, okay? But seriously, the situation we're in right now, I just find it absolutely unbelievable. I feel like I'm in a crazy movie sometimes when these companies think they can fleece the gamers for every cent they have. The whales and dolphins bullshit that was flounced a few years ago, and also Ubisoft wanting each client that they deal with to sell games to, each customer, to be a $200 customer. Well, all of you can just, do you know what, just get fucked. I mean, it's unacceptable for anyone that's grown up with gaming and seen it devolve into just business. It's not even a creative art form anymore. Back in the day, it was pure creativity, and now it's become business. I mentioned it in a previous video. Go and check it out if you have the time. That's all I've got to say in my little rant today. Next week I'll be doing some interesting videos on something from my childhood. I hope you guys enjoy it, and we will be together on Lee and I doing a video on Saturday. Please come back and check us out for that. And as I said at the start of the video, please like, subscribe, and get involved in this video. I want to hear what you guys think about this whole furore about EA and loot boxes. Do they deserve the PR nightmare? Do they deserve the hate? Do they deserve the flaming? I personally think they do, but I'm willing to hear what other people's thoughts are on this. I want it to be another discussion type video. So guys, thank you for listening to me waffle on for quite some time. I need to rest my voice because I've had a bit of a sore throat recently, and talking and ranting doesn't help. You might hear the croak.
La 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 la.
But guys, thank you for watching, and don't buy this game. No guys, seriously, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Okay, love you, bye-bye. I'm not going to survive. Yep, impaled. The death scenes are pretty special in this game, I have to say. They are amazing. No. I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. Come on, take him out. Take him out. Yes. Bang on yellow belt. You can't get better than that, ladies and gentlemen. This is awesome. Why is it that when people are watching